I'm going to do some welding today, okay? And I'm using once again, I'm using an E6013 3/32 size arc welding rod, which is mild steel, on a piece of 1/4 inch thick mild steel plate. And I'm going to be welding horizontal across like this. And I'm using a Harbor Freight Tools 80 amp DC weld machine. It puts off DC current, DC electrode positive. So let me put this on. And I don't use a full face cover. And and the way I do it is I take sunblock, like sport sunscreen. You know, it protects your skin from getting sunburned when you're out in the sun on the beach. And I put it on my face, and I put it on all around my face and anywhere where the welding light will hit, and that blocks the welding light from giving me a sunburn. And here's the welding machine. And I got it set at about 58 amps DC current, DC electrode positive. This welding machine right here with Harbor Freight Tools. Let's get a better look. So let's see how the Harbor Freight Tools 80 amp DC welder, DC electrode positive current does in the horizontal position. Okay, with the rod and the clamp. Now that was a $160 welding machine I got at Harbor Freight. I bought it at Harbor Freight Tools. Now, I never went to welding school. I just seen it done on the internet from the welding tips and tricks guy on YouTube, and Chucky E6013 and Weld Fevered, and then weld.com. If it hadn't been for their videos, I don't know if I would have learned. They show a lot, those guys do. And I tried to get in welding school in 2001, and they wouldn't let me in. I tried to get in welding school in Abingdon, Virginia, and the administration staff of the vocational school said they didn't believe I could do it. So I knew in my mind I could do it, you know, but they thought I wasn't worth wasting time. But so I'll show you what I've learned, and from just watching videos on the internet, and I haven't went to school. Okay, so this is E6013 3/32 size arc welding rod with 58 amps DC current, DC electrode positive. Let's see. It's just been like one street through here. Like that. Okay, so see that. Okay. Okay, so this is a 1/4 of an inch thick mild steel plate. I'm just seeing what happened, and there it is in the horizontal position. Let me get this straight. I went a little bit crooked, but I would trust that on a go-kart or a bicycle. Now it is a little sloppy, but the important thing it is penetrated. And anytime you weld metal, that's exactly what you want, is penetration. It doesn't matter how smooth the weld is, as long as it's penetrated, because if it's not penetrated, then you might run into a disaster if it's on a vehicle that supports a lot of weight. So it is sloppy. I didn't go completely straight, but it is penetrated. And there it is, horizontal position, E6013 3/32 size welding rod on a 1/4 of an inch thick mild steel plate. It wasn't a very big plate. Now, you got to remember that when you weld the metal heats up very quickly, and the thinner and smaller a piece of steel is, the faster it heats up. And when it heats up and gets very hot, it can melt a hole through it and ruin your bicycle, go-kart frame, or whatever you're welding on. So you gotta keep welding until you figure out what heat setting with what particular rod works best on what thickness of mild steel and the size of that steel and what position. So that was 58 amps. Okay, let me get started on something else. Maybe I'll try in the vertical down position here in a second.